Everything begins with a small moment of sympathy. A lost wallet, a false trust, and Sunanda gets pulled into a game whose rules she never made. In Oyon's eyes, she was only a target. But for Sunanda, it slowly became the darkest chapter of her life. No one here is completely good, and no one is completely evil either. Everyone is simply trying to survive with their own wounds. So, right at the beginning of the story, we are introduced to a guy. His name is Kim-won, but for convenience, we'll just call him Ian. Ian's lifestyle is rough. One day, he was walking down the street while eating ice cream. Suddenly, his eyes fell on a very beautiful girl. From the expression on Ian's face, it was obvious that he instantly liked her. And for that very reason, without saying a single word, he quietly went and sat in the seat next to her. Even though Ian was a gangster, he was extremely introverted. Even if he wanted to, he couldn't start a conversation with her. The girl's name was Sun. Here, we'll call her Sunanda. She was sitting there waiting for her boyfriend. Before Ian could say anything, her boyfriend also arrived there. Seeing the two of them so happy together, Ian's face suddenly turned dark. After all, he was a guy with a violent nature. So his actions matched it. All of a sudden, he got up, went toward Sunanda, and forcefully started kissing her. Everything happened so quickly that her boyfriend couldn't do anything. What was done could not be undone. But Sunanda's boyfriend pressured Ian to apologize for what he had done. Looking at Ian, it didn't seem at all like he felt any regret for his actions. Without saying even a single sorry, he prepared to walk away. Just then, a few soldiers from the crowd stepped forward and grabbed him. They threatened him, telling him to apologize to Sunanda immediately. But the man was unbelievably stubborn. Instead of admitting his mistake, he started arguing with the soldiers themselves. Within moments, the soldiers knocked all the arrogance out of him. Finally, bursting with anger, Sunanda spat right in his face. Doing this, Sunanda started leaving the place with her boyfriend. But even then, Oyon kept staring at her without blinking for a moment. After they left, Oyon was finally released too. With a bruised face from the beating, he returned to his house. There, his two rowdy friends were already waiting for him. These two were not only his friends, but also his business partners. The next day, Oyon again went and sat at the exact same place where he had seen Sunanda yesterday. Actually, his intention was to follow Sunanda and learn everything about her. For the next 2 to 3 days, he kept following Sunanda like this and found out many things about her. Then one day, when Sunanda was at a bookstore, Oyon's friend Antai came there and very cleverly left his wallet near Sunanda before walking away. After some time, Sunanda noticed the wallet. But she had no idea whose it was. She opened the wallet and, seeing it filled with money, greed rose in her mind. So very carefully, she picked up the wallet and walked outside. When Sunanda was returning home with the wallet, a man suddenly appeared looking for it. He already knew the wallet was with her, and without wasting any time, he started chasing her. Scared, she immediately returned the wallet and all the money inside it. But then the man revealed something shocking. He claimed there had been $10,000 inside the wallet, and Sunanda had stolen the rest. Sunanda kept explaining that she had returned everything she found, but the man refused to believe her. Then he gave her a terrifying warning. "If you don't return my money, I'll drag you straight to the police." Sunanda was helpless. She didn't even have $100, so paying such a huge amount was impossible. That's when the man offered her only option, a loan. With no way out, Sunanda agreed and followed him. Some men handed her the money immediately, but in return, they forced her to sign a contract. And the condition was horrifying. If she failed to repay the money within 7 days, they would have full control over her body. In just one moment of greed, Sunanda had trapped herself in a nightmare. In the next scene, seeing Oyon and his friends, we understand that all of this was actually Oyon's planned scheme. Oyon had created this entire conspiracy only to trap Sunanda in his net. It is revealed here that Oyon, along with his 2 friends, runs a brothel. Their job was to lure new girls into traps, and at the same time keep the police away from their business by bribing them. The gang that had given Sunanda the loan was actually working together with them. Then it is shown that 7 days had passed, but Sunanda still had not been able to repay the money. The result? One of the lone gang members started pressuring Sunanda for the money. So when Sunanda tried to run away to save herself, the man caught her and tried to force himself on her inside the car. At that time, Oyon and his friends were nearby. So Oyon immediately sent his 2 friends, and they brutally beat the man. Meaning, that man trying to force himself on her was not part of their plan. After that, the 2 men took Sunanda with them to the area where their prostitution business was run. Sunanda was handed over to the main lady who managed the business. That means, now this woman would decide when, how, and how much work would be taken from Sunanda. By now, she had understood that there was no option left except to obey quietly. So helplessly, she slowly began to cooperate with her. After that, by evening, Sunanda was fully dressed up and made to sit inside a display house. Actually, the whole area was filled with prostitution. And these display houses were places where girls were dressed up and displayed like an exhibition. After some time, a man passing by there liked Sunanda very much. He paid a good amount of money and booked Sunanda for a few hours. But for Sunanda, everything was happening by force. So naturally, she was not comfortable at all with this unfamiliar man. The man was very aggressive. He was trying his best from his side. But since the girl had no consent, he was struggling badly. Inside the room, there was a mirror fixed on the wall. From behind the mirror, the inside of the room could be seen. And we see that Oyon was quietly watching everything from behind that mirror. But the people inside the room had no idea what was behind the mirror. Seeing the horrible struggle inside, Oyon signaled one of his friends and told him to stop the man. But the man was not ready to listen at all. In the end, after being beaten by Oyon's friend, he had to leave from there. The madam of that brothel told Sunanda, "You know yourself that there is no way to escape from here. So instead of creating trouble, it is better to quietly work with us in this business." Sunanda said that until today, she had never been intimate with anyone. Her dream was that for the first time in her life, she would become close only with her boyfriend. So without wasting any more time, Oyon and his friends kidnapped Sunanda's boyfriend and brought him there. The boy was made to sit alone inside a car. He could not understand anything, what was happening, or why he had been brought there. After some time, Sunanda came to meet him. The moment he saw Sunanda, the boy started asking one question after another. But Sunanda, without wasting a moment, tried to go close to him. We see Oyon sitting with his friends and watching everything. Seeing the 2 of them so close, Oyon suddenly became extremely jealous. So he told his friends to remove Sunanda from there. After that, he brutally beat Sunanda's boyfriend. The next day, the madam of the brothel sent a man to force himself on Sunanda. This time, none of Sunanda's efforts worked anymore. In the end, the very thing for which she had been brought there happened. In the next scene, we come to know that Sunanda is very fond of drawing. And because of that, Oyon met her and gave her a drawing book. After that, Sunanda comes to know that Oyon also works in that same place. But she thinks that maybe everything is just a coincidence. She couldn't even think that it was Oyon's idea to trap her here. In the next scene, we see Oyon sitting with his friends and talking. Meanwhile, Oyon's friend Ronnie had started liking Sunanda very much. Finding a chance, Ronnie goes to Sunanda's room to meet her. He talks lightly with her, shows sympathy, and slowly manages to impress Sunanda a lot. According to the rules of that place, Sunanda also had to become intimate with him. After everything was over, Ronnie tells her the whole truth, how Oyon trapped her and brought her there. After hearing all this, Sunanda's anger and sorrow rise together. She goes straight to Oyon, slaps him again and again, and tells him, "People like Oyon are actually the biggest dark stain on society." Oyon understands that Ronnie is the one who revealed everything. In anger, he moves toward Ronnie to hit him. But suddenly, for some reason, he stops and lets Ronnie go. After learning the full truth, Sunanda's pain and anger grow even more. After that, Sunanda drinks heavily and somehow manages to get through that night. The next day, while getting ready for work, she completely breaks down in depression. Standing in front of the mirror, she keeps looking at herself very carefully, and feels pain for her own condition. Just then, we see that from the other side of the mirror, Oyon is quietly watching Sunanda. In the next scene, we see that because of Sunanda, the number of customers for the other girls had now started decreasing. To vent this frustration, they picked fights with Sunanda for no reason and kept bothering her badly. After that, it is shown that Ronnie is now almost completely in love with Sunanda. He openly expresses his feelings in front of his two friends and says, "If everything goes well, very soon I'll marry Sunanda and settle down." Later, he goes and says the same thing to Sunanda. But Sunanda clearly tells him, "I don't trust your love even a little. If you truly loved me, then you would try to get me out of this filthy place as soon as possible." These words hit Ronnie deeply, and for that reason, he really helps Sunanda and brings her out of that place. But the unfortunate part is, Oyon already knew about this entire plan beforehand. So when Sunanda left that place and reached near her home, Oyon caught her again from outside. This time, however, he did not take her directly back to the brothel house. After driving for a few hours, the two of them reached a beach. Here it is shown that Oyon is seeing a girl in a red dress in his imagination. Meaning, that girl was not actually there, she existed only in Oyon's imagination. After that, Oyon takes Sunanda to a quiet spot on the beach. For some time, both of them sit there silently. During this time, Sunanda notices a few torn pieces of a photograph. She quickly picks them up and keeps them with her. After that, she requests Oyon to let her go. But Oyon refuses to listen. By force, he once again brings Sunanda back to that brothel house. Late at night, when Sunanda was lying in her room, suddenly Oyon came there and lay down beside her. Without saying a word, he started crying bitterly. While crying, he eventually fell asleep there that very night. A few days later, it is shown that a police officer came to the area to collect weekly extortion money. He mocked Antai and kept speaking to him in extremely filthy language. Antai had already hated the police for a long time, and today's incident increased his anger several times more. Because of this, that very night he entered the police officer's house and killed him. When this news reached Oyon, he became extremely angry. He felt that if Antai went to jail, then his whole family would be destroyed. Also his father had cancer, so Oyon knew how much his family needs him. For that reason, Oyon took the blame for the police officer's murder onto himself and went to jail instead. Oyon had gone to jail before as well in an attempted murder case. So this time, for the crime of killing a police officer, it was natural that his punishment would be death by hanging. When Sunanda came to know all of this, she felt deeply hurt. Even though she hated Oyon for his actions, over the last few days she had developed a certain sympathy toward him. Anyway, somehow, she wanted to meet Oyon one time. So Antai took her along to the jail. There, after meeting Oyon, she spoke harshly to him and said that, "For you, my whole life has been ruined. So have to come out of this jail and take me out from this hell." While saying this, Sunanda started crying. But Oyon was a stubborn man, so her words had little effect on him. In the next scene, it is shown that Antai is deeply regretful. Only because of him, Oyon had gone to jail, and very soon he could be hanged. To save Oyon, Antai makes a plan. According to this plan, he brutally beats a police officer so that he too would be sent to the same jail where Oyon was supposed to be hanged a few days later. The plan works to a great extent. Antai reaches that same jail and gets to meet Oyon. After that, it is shown that when only one day was left before Oyon's execution, Antai, along with a few prisoners with him, starts a violent disturbance inside the jail. When a police officer comes to stop him, Antai cleverly traps that officer inside and comes out himself. In front of the police, he shouts loudly and confesses his crime. At the same time, he asks them to call a government lawyer to save Oyon. As a result, because of Antai's plan, Oyon's death sentence is stopped. And within a few days, Oyon is released from jail as well. After being freed, he goes straight back to his old place, that brothel house once again. From behind the mirror, he secretly watches and sees that Sunanda is no longer allowing any customer to come near her. After that, when Sunanda stood in front of the mirror and looked at herself very carefully, suddenly, she feels that Oyon, standing behind her, lights a lighter. At that very moment, Sunanda understands the real truth of that mirror. She realizes that Oyeon often used to hide behind that mirror and watch her. In anger, hatred, and frustration, Sunanda breaks that thing. And in exactly this way, the two of them face each other again. Seeing Oyeon alive, Sunanda feels very happy. But that does not mean she had forgiven him. Shouting loudly, she keeps slapping Oyeon hard across the face. Oyeon pulls her toward himself and embraces her. And Sunanda breaks down crying bitterly. At this moment, Oyeon finally understands how great a mistake he had made. Now the time had come to free Sunanda from this hell. Oyeon takes her to the exact place where he had first seen Sunanda. In his heart, Oyeon wants to ask for forgiveness, but he no longer has the courage to do so. So he leaves Sunanda there quietly and walks away. In the next scene, Oyeon is seen drinking with his friend Ronnie. Ronnie deeply regrets that Sunanda has slipped out of his hands. Because of this anger, he starts shouting at Oyeon and abusing him. Before long, the fight between the two turns violent. In the end, Oyeon is badly beaten by Ronnie. But after some time, getting an opportunity, Ronnie suddenly attacks Oyeon with a knife. This time, Oyeon is seriously injured again. Overall, the business and friendship built over so many years were now both on the verge of collapse. Even then, this time too, Oyeon survives. He decides to leave this city and go far away. And on the other side, it is shown that Sunanda is silently staring at the torn pieces of the photograph she had found near the sea. That day at the sea, the torn pieces of the photograph that Sunanda had picked up were still missing two parts to make the picture complete. In search of those two missing pieces, she once again goes back to the same beach, to the exact same spot where Oyeon had brought her that day. After searching for a long time, when she finally finds the remaining two pieces and completes the picture, the story behind everything slowly becomes clear to her. The photograph was actually of Oyeon and his former lover. And the surprising thing was, Oyeon's former lover looked exactly like Sunanda. That is why, the very first day he saw Sunanda, Oyeon could no longer keep himself away from her. On the other hand, it is shown that Oyeon too has decided to leave his old life behind and leave the city. Before leaving the city, for one last time, he comes again to that same beach in memory of his lover. While Oyeon is sitting there, staring at the sea waves, at that very moment Sunanda also comes and stands there dressed in the same way Oyeon's former lover used to dress. Seeing her appearance, Oyeon understands that Sunanda now knows everything. Oyeon's lover had died in an accident. This incident had completely broken him from inside. Because of that trauma, he had become even more unstable than before. In the end, Sunanda chooses to stay with Oyeon. Oyeon was a deeply disturbed man who first trapped Sunanda out of revenge after she slapped him. But over time, that revenge turned into obsession. Eventually, karma hit him back hard. His life fell apart, his friendships were destroyed, and he suffered for everything he had done to Sunanda. As for Sunanda, she knew she could never truly return to her old normal life again. With nothing left from her past, she finally chose to stay with Oyeon, two broken people trying to live with the scars of their past.